What is up, everybody? Back with another video. You know me. My name's Pierce. And before we get started, let me give y'all some motivational words for the day.
Can't put into words, Joe. 4 years. The old doubted me said I couldn't do it. The old said I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
Look at me now, baby. Hey, we're feeling fucking good after last week. Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series week 6. Went fucking 5-0, baby. Fucking swept the fucking board, bro. Seeing so much green, you could have called me an environmentalist, baby. Hey, but we called, I believe, 3 submission props. We got the Builder by sub, Rebecca by sub, and then Cedric Dumas by sub to top it off. Great night overall. Made a lot of money. Hopefully y'all did too. But we got another week. So another week, another dollar. And this card, honestly, mixed opinions on it. I mean, there's a couple spots I actually really like, but it was kind of annoying because I was about to film this video and then I fucking see right here, Jimmy Lawson got a fucking new opponent. He was supposed to fight this, I think he was Polish, yeah. Kevin Zaflarski, whatever the fuck you say it. Yeah, but he pulled out. Don't know the reason why, but got Karl Williams stepping in on short notice. I mean, I was familiar with Karl, but just watched a couple more fights on him, so we'll have a good opinion on that. But first off, we will start with the first fight of the night. Got the women's bout in the flyweight division. We have Tereza Bleda versus Nayara Maia. All right, and I mean, I'm not gonna waste too much time on this breakdown. The odds are fucking juiced. You see right here, the betting odds minus 650 plus 400. I think it's honestly minus 700, minus 750 on Bleda. I mean, I get why she's the big favorite here. I mean, she's definitely being brought in to win. I think if she wins, she'll be the youngest prospect in the UFC at 20 years of age, which is pretty fucking crazy that she's 20 years old and on the cusp of getting into the UFC. But I mean, yeah, she's fighting the 32-year-old Nayara Maia. So I mean, it's kind of obvious who the UFC wants to win here, but getting into their games, we'll start with Tereza Bleda. I mean, I think, yeah, she's the grappler first. She's honestly trying to get you down to the ground. Has very good ground and pound when she does get on top. And submissions, she throws up some stuff from her back. I think I've seen her attempt some triangles and arm bars off her back, if I recall correctly. But I mean, yeah, you see a lot of her wins here. Ground and pound. She's very, gets a lot of variety of wins. She has two TKOs and 2 submissions and 1 decision. So, I mean, I guess you could say she can do everything well, but I honestly don't think she's like the craziest prospect, but I mean, she should win. When you talk about her opponent, Nayara Maia, I mean, 7-0-1. You'll see the 1 draw on her record was against this Nadia Vera girl. That was a horrible decision. It was a 5-round fight, and they somehow made it a draw because it was in the Vera girl's hometown. But she should be 8-0. We're gonna say she's 8-0 because that was a bullshit ass win. But getting into the game of Maia, I mean, she's not a good striker at all. I think both these girls are grapplers first. It's pretty obvious. On the feet, Maia, she plods forward. She doesn't really have any straight shots. It's more so just like uppercuts and hooks. I mean, not the best striking at all. And she's just honestly trying to muscle her way to the ground. And I mean, she's decent, I guess, taking the back, but she doesn't really have that many submissions on her record. It's all like a lot of decisions. I mean, she's got a couple here. I mean, she's tough. She's gritty. She'll fight for sure. She's gonna fight for her. She's not gonna quit, is what I'm saying here. And I mean, Bleda. I mean, she on the feet. I mean, Bleda probably is a longer girl. Has straight shots, which would honestly be enough to beat fucking Maia. Because Maya's just fucking, she literally just walks forward, doesn't move her head, and just eats shots, and she just wants to push you up against the cage. And even then, like, it's not, her wrestling is not good on her back. I mean, Maia, she'll throw up a couple submissions off her back, but I've seen her reverse a couple of times. I mean, in regards to Bleda, I mean, we haven't seen Bleda on her back that much. So, I mean, it's women's MMA. As shown last week, don't trust fucking chalk. I don't want anything to do with this fucking money line, though. Doesn't show it here, but she's minus 700. Bleda is. And I believe the comeback's like plus 500, plus 450, something along the lines of that. But, I mean, I can't hate anybody for taking the dog shot on Maia. Because it's like, it's women's MMA. How would Maia win? I guess wet blanket her way to a decision? I don't know, but she's probably not going to win. But at these odds, it's like fucking ridiculous. Like anybody parlaying minus 700 Tereza Bleda, you deserve to lose that bet. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I'm not going to waste any time on that. The pick's Bleda. Maybe a sneaky over spot. That's the only edge I can really get from the tape. I mean, Maia's very competent not competent. She's decent on the ground. And I think she's tough and gritty enough to survive as long as she doesn't get caught in a submission. But yeah, we'll take Bleda by decision. I don't fucking know. Not going to put too much money on that fight. But this next fight, honestly, probably the best fucking fight of the night. I mean, as you can fucking tell by the records. But we have Nariman Abbasov versus Ismael Bonfim. Yeah, Ismael. We got the Bonfim brothers Tuesday night. We got Gabriel and Ismael. And hold up, I think my dog's barking in the back. Yeah. I think that's a superstition that the dog's gonna fucking win. Yeah, I fucking love Ismael Bonfim in this spot. And I don't think he's the dog anymore, but we'll get into the matchup and talk about the two. So I'll start with the Abbasov side because that's probably the easiest way for me to break it down. Okay, so we got Abbasov from Azerbaijan. I mean, the only Azerbaijani fighter that has my respect is Tofik Musayev. Fucking GOAT. Shout out to him for cashing that ticket against Sydney Outlaw. But yeah, I mean, we got a fighter out of Azerbaijan. And Abbasov, I believe, if I'm correct, yeah, he's the #1 ranked pro lightweight in Russia. You know, I see his record. He's 28-3. I was a little shocked after running the tape that his record was 28-3 because you would think if he has a 28-3 record, it's against like the Buffet or something along the lines of that. Because this dude, it's a big boy. It's definitely a big boy. I'm trying to be nice with my words here. As someone, one of my friends told me, he is a fat swinging ape. It's a good way to put it, honestly. I mean, Abbasov. I mean, what does he do well? He likes to brawl. He kind of just walks forward, and his only shot selection is hooks and uppercuts. I mean, he'll occasionally throw like some head kicks. I mean, occasionally we'll see some leg kicks from him. And I mean, he has no straight shots to his game. He kind of just walks forward. I don't know the fucker's last name. The Cameron Lachinov, something like that. You remember that dude that fought Brian Battle on The Ultimate Fighter, and he just walked fucking forward and just ate all that shit? Yeah, that fucking crazy, man. Reminds me of Nariman. But I mean, Nariman's obviously he's beaten a lot of dudes. I mean, you look at the dudes he's beaten. It's recently, I tell you. Because if you go back in his career, I mean, yeah, these records you see like 5-1, 2-1. I mean, 4-1. That's not the worst records. You see 0-0, 4-1. His one loss was against his 9-0 Magomed Alibekov. And in that loss, I mean, he did get a couple takedowns in the fight, but Alibekov was just a better grappler, and he was able to win the positions and was able to get the decision there. I mean, looking at his record, I mean, early in his career, he didn't fight anybody good, but recently he's fought on paper good opponents. We have the Mareth Pyre, 32 4-1. And then the Shamil Zerdal 46-1. I mean, those were solid wins, I guess. I mean, it's not like he fucking dominated those fights. He's just able to walk forward and kind of just like I don't know how to word it here, but he was just able to like walk forward and not necessarily break the guys, but the pressure did get to his opponents, like in the Zidorov fight. I believe he got taken down a couple times. No, he didn't get taken down. I think he was just able to bully the guy. But no, the Shamil Amirov fight against the 4-1-1 dude, he got taken down a couple times in that fight. It was not a good look. I don't know how good this Shamil Amirov guy's grappling is, but I mean, Nariman Abbasov had really nothing to offer off his back, but he would just kind of like power his way up, I guess. And then he was just, I mean, they were both, I think that was the one where it got really sloppy in the second or third round, I believe. And he was able to find the knockout. But if he he might have been down 2-0 in my opinion, but regardless of the fact, he did get the win. But like, yeah, for 28-3, I saw this and I'm like, oh, it's the number one lightweight in Russia. I would have expected like an elite level wrestling game or at least glimpses of like top 15 talent. But I just was not impressed at all. Like I'm trying to respect him here. He does have power. He does. He walks forward kind of like a retard, but I mean, shit, there's that style tends to work. Look at fucking Nikolai Neguramanu. Just walks people down and just eats their shots. I mean, Nariman, he's young too. I mean, he's 28. He's got a big backing behind him, repping that 100,000 followers on the Instagram. So you know he's got a lot of money and fans supporting him. So I don't know, because you go to his opponent. I don't know why these guys are on the Contender Series to begin with, because they both have great records. Natty Man, as much as I hate him, he is a big name in the MMA world, at least in that part of the world, Azerbaijan. There's a big following behind him. But Ismael Bonfim, on the other hand, he very fucking slick on the feet. He's just very well rounded in general, honestly. So what does Ismael Bonfim do well? Great jab, great technique on the feet. You know, he works the body very well overall. I like to compare the Bonfim brothers to the Hardwick brothers of if for those of y'all that are familiar, George Hardwick, Harry Hardwick. More so George, he's the better of the two, but he's a proper bloke lad. But yeah, I think the Bonfim brothers are the Hardwicks of Brazil. They have very, I guess you could say, similar striking styles. They love to work that body, which is honestly an underutilized weapon in MMA, in my opinion. But yeah, there's a lot to like from him. Great takedown defense. Takedown offense, though. I mean, Bonfim's he doesn't really grapple too much, but if he has to, though, he does have solid BJJ. He can get some submissions if he does get on top and take the back, but he's probably going to look to keep it on the feet, unless obviously Abbasov tries to grapple him. But I mean, Bonfim, he does everything well on the feet. I guess like the one knock on him is sometimes he's a bit of a slow starter. He likes to get a read on his opponents. The volume can be lacking at times, but it's nothing too bad because when he turns it on or when he's like starting to find his range, he is mixes up his weapons really well. He has a good kicking game, nice little leg kicks, very solid. He's just a really smart fighter on the feet. I believe, if I'm correct, he had a 17-3 as a pro, 4-1 as the professional boxer, and 24-3 as an amateur MMA fighter. So you know, dude has a lot of experience, a lot of experience. And then you go, who has he lost to? Well, back in 2011, good old Adrian Moraes, or Adriano Moraes, the former one champion. I mean, Demetrius Johnson just fucking hit him with the Uno reverse card. And then this other dude, Jefferson Lucas, don't know who that is, but 2011, while back. But you see his other loss too, Hanato Moicano, Momani Moicano. Yeah, Moicano submitted him. I mean, losing to Moicano and Adriano Moraes is not the worst look in the world. Those are two very solid fighters, but it was also a while ago too. So he hasn't lost an MMA fight in 8 years. Really impressive. And then you look at the competition that he's fighting too. I mean, like Abbasov on paper, they're good records. You see 12-2 Andre Augusto and 10-1 Rangel de Sa. That was I believe it was 3 minutes, something along the lines of that. It might have been 2 rounds, I forget, but it was like a tournament, so they didn't do 5-minute rounds. But I mean, in that fight, looked really good. I mean, I think Sal Desa was looking to ground the fight in moments, or was that the Augusto? I think they both were trying to ground the fight. No one really wants to stand with Bonfim because once he figures out like his reads, he's very difficult to deal with. You know, he'll throw the body shots, mix it up with the leg kicks, good clinch, good in the clinch. He's got good knees. But I mean, overall, his takedown defense is really good too. So I mean, if Abbasov's not liking what he's seeing on the feet, I mean, Abbasov might approach the grappling a little bit. I do notice he'll go for the rear body lock, and Abbasov will, or sometimes he'll go for a power double. But he will just try to muscle you down, bully you down. He doesn't really have Abbasov, doesn't really have BJJ to speak of. He's not really good at getting good controlling positions on the ground. So, I mean, if he does take Bonfim down, Abbasov, I think Bonfim's probably just going to turn his back against the cage and get up. I mean, he does give up his back, Bonfim, but Abbasov's not going to be the type of dude to exploit the back take into a sub. So, I mean, I think Abbasov, honestly, is a KO or a bust here. I mean, it could happen. I mean, he's a very gritty individual. He could just fucking walk down, I mean, Bonfim. But at the same time, it's like you have someone that likes, or not likes, his only shots that he throws are like uppercuts, overhands, and hooks, like a bunch of looping shots. And then you have Bonfim, who throws straight shots. He's got a beautiful jab, beautiful pull counter. I mean, just does everything fucking well. So, I mean, I think the odds now are minus 125 on Bonfim. I mean, I placed I'm just gonna tell you, I placed $500 on the Ismael Bonfim at plus 105 last night. And I mean, the line's moving in my direction, which is nice to see. I mean, when I look at the line movements, I tend to just look at Bet Online because like these other books, it's like, and they're not sharp. Bet Online is probably one of the more sharp books. So what their lines are tend to reflect what the line should be. So it's like minus 125. I'm curious where it goes. I'm thinking maybe we could hedge, since I already got such a line movement, maybe hedge Abbasov by KO when the props get released is like a little like safe way to that fight. I mean, I really do think he's KO or bust. I struggle to see Abbasov win in minutes unless like his pressure is able to break Bonfim, I guess. But yeah, I mean, Bonfim's got the straighter shots, the more technical striker. I mean, honestly, he might have the grappling upside. Abbasov's takedown defense is very questionable. In that one fight against the 4-1 dude, I don't really know what Abbasov has off his back. I mean, I think you got to go Bonfim, Ismael Bonfim, and I think I'm going him big. I know I'm probably testing my luck after last week making a lot of money, but I mean, I think the line is close solely on the fact that the record's 28-3. And tinfoil hat theory, I don't think the UFC wants to sign Abbasov. I mean, you look at him, 28-3. Okay, he's coming from a big promotion. I believe it was AMC Fight Night's global champion. If I'm correct, I might be wrong. He's probably, if he were to go straight to the UFC, probably ask for some money. I doubt he's gonna get the 12-12. Maybe Dana's like, okay, we don't want to fucking pay you. We're gonna bring you on the Contender series. We're gonna bring you against a fucking killer, and then I would be fine if Abbasov just fucks off and goes back to Russia to fight. I mean, good, he can do that, but I think this is Ismael Bonfim's time. I mean, you look at the age as well for Bonfim, 26, and the height, they're both 5'8". So, I mean, the measurables are pretty even. I'm going to have to go with Bonfim. I think he's technically better everywhere. I have been talking a lot on this fight, so we'll move on. But yeah, as you can tell, I fucking love me some Ismael Bonfim. And that's probably going to be the fight that takes up the most of the time in regards to a breakdown, because we got Jimmy Lawson versus Karl Williams next. I mean, It's supposed to be Jimmy Lawson versus the Polish dude Kevin. I believe the odds were like minus 180 for Jimmy Lawson in that fight. And it was kind of annoying because I watched the tape on his opponent and then I saw him as a dog. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bet this Kevin dude. And find out the fight got pulled. So can't bet him at dog odds. So, maybe we'll get Karl Williams at dog odds. But obviously, you got Karl Williams. He is not a heavyweight. The dude Jimmy was about to fight with about to be 6'6" heavyweight from Poland. And Karl Williams is not no 6'6", but I mean 6'3", fighting at a 205, and I believe his last fight was in ex-MMA against his Simon Marini. The Marini dude, he wasn't that good, but I mean Karl Williams, he for once in his career, he decided to not really grapple as much. He wanted to kind of test his striking on the feet in that fight. And I mean, he looked patient. He timed the right hand. He was able to get on top, some solid ground and pound, got the finish. But I mean, Karl Williams, I mean, you see him this Kyle Wright fight and the Miles Amos fight. Those are his most recent ones. It's not really trying to force the finish too much. He is just really trying to get the body lock or get the upper body takedowns and kind of just waste away minutes on top. He's very good at sticking to you like glue. If you do get up, he'll just transition to the back, hold you against the cage, and then just try to drag you back down. I mean, submission game, I mean, I don't really see him attacking too many submissions, which honestly, in trying to get the win, it's not the worst thing because he's not going to put himself in a position where he gets reversed. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously a grappler first. I mean, his striking's getting better. Got decent. He showed a decent striking in his last fight, but it's like there's not much of a sample size against good competition in regards to his striking. Kind of just seen him grapple. But I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this is why the grappling will be interesting because we got his opponent here in Jimmy Lawson. Jimmy Lawson's 4-1. I don't know what his age is. I want to say he's 30 years old, somewhere around that ballpark. But yeah, I mean he's an actual heavyweight. Motherfucker's 260, and Karl Williams is used to fight at 205. So I'm curious to see what Karl Williams comes in at the scales tomorrow. But my guess is he's probably gonna come in like 230, maybe something along the lines of that. But Jimmy Lawson, he is a former wrestler at Penn State back in 2013, 2014. I mean, he's not no fucking Bo Nickel now. Looked at his record. I think it was like something along the lines of like 29-14, something like that. And then I think he wrestled for 2 seasons, and then he got like a bad knee injury, and then he just stopped wrestling for Penn State. But I mean, for someone that was a college wrestler, though, you wouldn't fucking know it watching his fucking fights. I believe he got his first ever MMA takedown in the Mario Eatman fight. Which was it the Mario Eatman fight? I don't fucking know. But he's gotten a lot of quick finishes recently. And I mean, he's just able to kind of just blitz guys from the start. And they just aren't able to withstand his power. So I mean, I guess you can say Jimmy Lawson does have power in his hands. But I mean, overall, I guess the one fight you can really take away some stuff from is the Edwin Smart fight. Smart was honestly looking pretty good in that fight until I think it was Jimmy got on top and was able to finish him. Smart tried to shoot a takedown and he got sprawled upon. Weird stoppage. It was he didn't really he wasn't out. It was just the ref kind of, I don't fucking know. Just watch that if you want. It's not the most entertaining fight, but it was definitely an early stoppage in my opinion. But regardless, I mean, he got the win. And I mean, that's growing pains. But I mean, if it's a Sama fight, he lost to Sama. I mean, he just wasn't able to get anything going in that fight. Sama was just able to win the clinch exchanges. But I mean, that was 2019. And Saeed Salma's actually a decent heavyweight. He's getting some wins in Bellator too. But I mean, you see, I mean, his wins in the LFA. I mean, he's able to get guys out of there, which is great. It's great. It really is. But I mean, it's hard to really take anything out of Jimmy Lawson's game. Like, I don't know what his cardio is like when he's able to face adversity. And that's the one edge that I think Karl Williams might have in this fight is the cardio. Because when the fight starts, I think the size differential is going to frustrate Karl. And if he's not able to like get in a clinch position early, I do worry maybe Jimmy will blitz him and catch that chin. But I mean, I like Karl's game. He has a system to it. I mean, he'll just rinse and repeat, stick to you like glue. So I mean, it's hard not to want to pick Karl here. I mean, I guess obviously the weight concern, so don't fucking go crazy. But I'm guessing he's gonna be the dog because the fight was just announced, so we don't have any odds. If I were to line it truly, what I think it would be, probably a pick'em. Yeah, probably a pick'em. Maybe slight favorite Jimmy Lawson based on just the fact it's short notice. But I mean, yeah, we'll go Karl Williams by decision, and then for the, I don't think I made a prediction on the Bonfim fight. We're gonna go third round knockout on that too. I think Abbasov. I don't think I mentioned Abbasov's cardio is not the best. I think Abbasov gasses and Bonfim's able to find the third round knockout. And then we also got Karl Williams by decision, laying prey. Let's go, Karl. And speaking of short notice, we have another short notice opponent in Trey Waters going up against Gabriel Bonfim. And Gabriel, in my opinion, is probably the better fighter of the two brothers. Yeah, I mean, he's welterweight, I believe. Yeah, sorry. Welterweight, sorry. He's claim to fame, I guess, is being Vicente Luque's sparring partner. If you watched any of his fights, the announcers wouldn't fucking stop talking about that. But I mean, that's nice. Him and his brother do train with Vicente Luque. So it's like that's good. That's good talent to be training with day in and day out. And straight up, I think Gabriel Bonfim's probably really fucking good. Like honestly, like he probably gives Vicente Luque some work in the gym. This dude is, I guess you could say he's kind of a carbon copy of his brother. They both have very similar traits to them. He's a great striker as well, Gabriel Bonfim. But I will say Bonfim's probably Gabriel probably more likely to grapple. He does. I think he does have more submissions than his brother. Let me see. It is 9 submissions, and then the rest are I think it's 4 of knockouts. So it's all finishes here. Yeah, but yeah, he's definitely a better submission artist compared to the two. But don't get that twisted. He is a great striker. Similar striking to his brother, likes the jab, 1-2, works the body really well. Got good pull counters. I mean, I guess the only issue is that he kind of keeps his head on a center line, but I mean they both have like a high guard. So it's like they're very educated strikers here. And then I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate this fight because I think it's pretty simple to break down. You got Trey Waters here, who's a short notice fighter. I mean, he's I guess what's his height? I mean, need to see the measurables. Yeah, he's 6'4", 77-inch reach. I mean, he's tall, he's lengthy, likes to kind of throw a 1-2, kind of stay at range, kind of just likes to make it look cute. But I mean, Trey Waters, yeah, I mean, outside of his length, he's got decent. I don't want to say. I mean, his power's all right. But yeah, I mean, he'll occasionally throw some high kicks too. But I mean, the Benjamin Bennett fight, which was his last fight, you see here it says needed a head round 3. I mean, that was a good knockout, very vicious knockout, but might have been 1-1, probably 2-0 to Benjamin Bennett going into the third round. So it's kind of a fucking Hail Mary from Trey Waters. Not the best look. Bennett was kind of just able to pressure Waters, who was just trying to like, he kind of likes to like keep it at range, kind of like a Wonder Boy, and try to point spar. But I mean, Trey Waters did not look good in that fight. I mean, I saw Bennett. Bennett was going off to the body too with some shots. So I mean, if Bennett's ripping the body with success, imagine what fucking Gabriel Bonfim's gonna do to you. But yeah, and then if I recall correct, I think Bennett was getting takedowns too. But I mean, Waters' takedown defense is all right. It's not the worst, not the best. But I do think if he does get down, he might fucking turn his back to Bonfim. And if you got Bonfim on your back, safe to say he's going to get a submission. And then if he's not able to get the rear naked choke, he's just good at chaining shit, keeping scrambles going. So it's like Trey Waters is going to need to put on an amazing performance if he wants to find this win. I mean, barring like a split decision type shit, I really think Gabriel Bonfim's probably gonna run through Trey Waters. I mean, you got Trey Waters on short notice, so I don't know what his cardio is gonna look like. So I mean, I think it's a pretty easy one here. You kind of have to go Gabriel Bonfim, and I'm gonna go Gabriel Bonfim by decision. And then you see the odds. You got Gabriel Bonfim minus 275. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I parlayed the brothers, the little Bonfim squared parlay. Uh, I think Bonfim Gabriel is worth the minus 270 price tag and then some. I think this is a great matchup for him. If Waters wins, so be it. I don't see it in this matchup. I'm gonna Gabriel Bonfim by decision. Throw him in your parlays, guys. All right. And then we got the last fight of the night. We have Rodolfo Bellato versus Vitor Petrino. All right. Well, we're gonna hear everybody fucking talk about this all week. This is a rematch. You say a rematch? Yes. The motherfuckers fought on the Brazilian regional scene in 2019, and your boy Vitor Petrino got actually the win in his professional debut against 5-0 Rodolfo Bellato. And I mean, it was a 20-second knockout. I mean, he caught Bellato, dropped him bad, and was able to hit some follow-up shots, get the finish. I mean, it's hard to really take anything away from that fight. I mean, in regards to Vitor's game, I mean, he's a very wild striker on the feet. I actually, it was funny. I saw a video on YouTube. It was like a video of him boxing like some short little chubby guy on the beach. It's kind of funny, but I don't see that on his record. But what is he? What do they say he is? 6-0. So he's technically 7-0. He won a beach boxing match, and I mean, Bellato. I mean, not Bellato. Petrino. I mean, he's got good striking. I mean, he's got some power in his hands, decent leg kicks. But I mean, he's a pretty wild individual. He kind of likes to find the left hook in the uppercuts. He's trying to kind of draw a brawl out of you. It's just hard to really take much away from him here outside of the fact that he has a good doctor. Cause I might be reaching here, but in this Antigula fight, it looked like he was on some new supplements that fight. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason he hasn't been back in a year. He's got to get off the juice before he gets to the UFC. But you will see. Familiar name here. Gadzimurad Antigula, Mr. Antigula from the UFC. Yeah, he beat him. That was a weird fight. I mean, Vitor was able to drop Godzi in the first round, but it was a typical Godzi Antigula first round. Him just fucking shooting for that double leg. And I mean, Petrino defended everything pretty well, so that was like nice to see. Because I forget which one of these fights it was. One of the fucking fights. He got taken down by one of his opponents in previous fights. So I mean, his takedown defense did look a lot better against a quality opponent in Antigula. But the elephant in the fucking room is just look at these records, dog. 0-0, 0-0, 0-6, 1-17. And then you got fucking Antigula 20-8. Well, I mean, these guys aren't that good that he's fighting. He's fighting like fucking taxi drivers out here. But I mean, he's handling them like he should. He's getting the knockout. He's just able to like, I guess they just eat his punches and then they're like no mas, no mas, and then just fall over. But win's a win. And I mean, he's wild cardio wise. Like in the Antigula fight, he was tired in that second round. It kind of looked like Antigula was getting the better of the cardio, but he got slept with a mean uppercut from Petrino. But I will say Petrino, sometimes he'll throw wild exchanges. He does leave himself open to be countered. He's just able to kind of just land the more powerful shots. So he's able to get away with the poor striking defense. But I mean, yeah, he does have power, solid striking. I mean, on top, if he does get on top in the grappling exchanges, I mean, it's not the best grappler. He's not going to be getting any fucking submissions on you. But yeah, I mean, he's probably going to keep it on the feet. But then you got his Rodolfo Bellato here. Very honestly similar styles, in my opinion. They're both very wild strikers. except the one thing I'll give Bellato is he's by far the better grappler between the two. I mean, you see in his past two fights, he got a triangle choke and a rear naked choke. I mean, the triangle choke, the dude tapped with like 1 second left. I don't know why the fuck he tapped because it was like sunk in for like maybe like 2 seconds and then he started tapping. But I mean, I'm not gonna fucking hate on that. So better than whatever the fuck Petrino's doing. He ain't getting no fucking triangle chokes. I don't even think I've seen him attempt one. But I mean, we see in this Carlos Eduardo fight, he got the rear naked choke. He dropped the dude with a jab. Looked very patient in that fight. Bellato didn't rush too much, and then in the Vera fight too, looked patient. He was able to get some grappling off. I mean, Bellato, I feel like if he goes to the grappling here, it's probably the best way to approach this fight. I mean, act like we're Bellato. If I got knocked out by Petrino in the past, why the fuck would I not want to grapple here? I mean, he's got 2 straight submission wins. You would have to think he sees the holes in Petrino on the ground. I mean, his takedown defense is getting better. Looked decent against Antigua, but I mean, like, well, him off his back, it might just be like one takedown and then the fight's over. But I'll give Petrino credit. I mean, he's definitely probably the better striker of the two. More power for sure. But I mean, technically, Bellato, I mean, he's more patient. He'll throw a jab. I mean, I don't really see Petrino really put a jab out there. He'll just look to straight close the distance on you. But I mean, Bellato, he could get caught. He does leave his can leave his hands down at times. I mean, they both leave their hands down. So honestly, kind of just screams an under here. I don't even know if this fight gets out of the first round. I mean, the last time they fought, didn't get out of fucking 30 seconds. But yeah, we'll go to the odds here because it's a tough fight to predict. I mean, there's not the most tape on the two, but more so the Petrino side. There's not a lot of tape on him. But I mean, you see the odds minus 200 Petrino, plus 170 Bellato. I mean, I guess the odds are baked into the fact that Petrino's beat him. So, I mean, what did he open at? Minus 210. So there hasn't been too much money on both sides. I mean, at plus 170, I mean, I don't know how we don't go Bellato here. I'm not going to make it a big play, but it's like, I view it as kind of like a 50-50 fight. And then if Bellato grapples, could look like a hindsight favorite here. And I'll take Bellato to maybe stun Petrino on the feet, get a takedown, and then sink in that rear naked choke when Petrino gives up his back. But, I mean, keep an eye on the weigh-ins. I'm curious to see how these guys size up, see if Petrino is seeing a good doctor or not, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I mean, we'll go Bellato by first-round submission. And then in regards to the betting tips, we'll start with the women's fight. I mean, betting tips on that fight, I think I mentioned earlier, maybe look for the over, sneaky overplay. I mean, I've noticed the women's MMA overs in the Contender series have been very short. If I recall, I think like the last week the women's MMA over was like close to pick 'em, maybe even plus money. I don't fucking know. But yeah, maybe look for an over there. I think Maia's tough enough to survive. I mean, I'll keep an eye on the odds because it's like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth it to sprinkle on Maia. Just fucking straight up pass on that fight. But we'll go to the Bonfim Abbasov fight. I mean, fight doesn't go. Seems like the logical option. Probably safe. I don't want to say safer than the money lines, but I mean, I don't think that fight's gonna go to decision. I think it's either Abbasov catches him with like a left hook or like an overhand from fucking Azerbaijan. But other than that, I think Bonfim's just gonna fucking put some volume on him and just overall just break Abbasov with those body shots and just overall volume. So I think Bonfim's gonna get the late finish. Maybe look to fire up those round 3 props when they get released. But I mean, yeah, I mean I'm fine with just taking the plus 105 money line I got yesterday. So even at like minus 125 right now that I think it's at, it's not the worst bet. I really think Bonfim should win here. I think it's a good spot, really do. And then you got the Karl Williams, Jimmy Lawson fight. It's kind of hard to save the betting tips when there's no fucking betting odds. But I'm gonna tell y'all Carl Williams is probably gonna open as the underdog. How big of an underdog? I don't fucking know. Maybe we get a good opener, so just keep an eye on that line. But I mean, yeah, we'll probably play Carl Williams at dog odds. Maybe Carl Williams by decision if we can get some juice on it. But then we got Trey Waters, Gabriel Bonfim. Bet in tips. I mean, Gabriel Bonfim money line is probably the way I'm gonna approach it. I don't really want to touch a prop on his side, but I mean, probably inside the distance, honestly. Maybe if that's like even money around that, maybe play that. I mean, he does have all finishes. So you would think he gets the finish here. But Waters' length could maybe bother Gabriel for like the first round or so. And then once he gets a read on it, I think he's going to be able to drown Waters with the pressure. And I mean, maybe look at the submission line, but I mean, I doubt it's going to be like plus 700 like that Dumas by sub last week. But yeah, I mean, I say just stick to the Bonfim money line, maybe. Yeah, submission, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I parlayed the two brothers. I don't know what the odds were, but I think it was like plus 150, something along the lines of that. I don't mind parlaying both the brothers. I think that's a pretty good parlay. I mean, if you're really worried about the 28-3 Azerbaijani fighter, maybe hedge him by KO. See what that number is. That'd be a good hedge spot. And then Trey Waters, I don't know what a good hedge on him would be. I mean, maybe decision if you. I don't think Trey Waters is gonna win. I'm not even gonna worry about hedging that fight. And we got Bellato versus Petrino. I mean, fight doesn't go to decision is probably the lock of that fight. I don't think the fight's going 3 rounds, nor do I think Petrino has the gas tank to go 3 rounds. So I think it's either Petrino gets him out of there early, or fucking Bellato is able to withstand the storm and then kind of just beat up a gassed out Petrino. But I mean, we're gonna go Bellato by sub. I don't know what round, but maybe look for that. Snipe that sub line. I don't think it's gonna be a good price because a lot of his wins recently have been by sub. But just keep an eye on that. I mean, if I had to pick parlay pieces, fight doesn't go to decision in the Bellato fight. Gabriel Bonfim money line. Maybe if those two is close to even money, just play that. And then obviously Ismael Bonfim. Parlay him too, probably. And I mean, overall, solid card. I mean, I told y'all who I like the Bonfim brothers. Bellato as a dog, Carl Williams as a dog. So, you know, maybe we can repeat the magic we got last week. So, I don't know how long this has been, but kind of got carried away on that. But all right, guys, nice talking to y'all. Let's make some money this Tuesday, baby. Hey, if I got 5 fights in a row last week. If I get 5 fights in a row this week, you know what that is? 10 fights in a row. You know, the belt belongs to nobody.